Okay, we've had a very solid week of practice. We transitioned this week into focusing on our first opponent, Kentucky. We had a good practice on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're off today. Tomorrow we'll go to the stadium and do some special situation things. And it'll be under the lights, and we're going to turn the crowd noise on and all that, and get used to the new normal as far as that goes. As far as our COVID update, we had good news. We didn't have any positive tests this week, which was great. We still have 8 guys out. We should get those guys back by Tuesday next week, which is the first day of practice as far as that goes. But you look at Kentucky team. They're a veteran team, especially up front, and I think not going through spring and everything that goes with that. That's the veteran teams, I think, have an advantage. And you look at them; they're very impressive. You can tell they're well coached. Our guys have already, as watching film, can tell that they're a very good team. So, been a good week of prep. I know it's been very good for our players and coaches to start transitioning into another opponent, and you can tell that it's getting closer just from the excitement. Not only in the practice field, but in the complex.
First question, Coach, is from Mark Murphy.
Gus, can you talk about preparations for the first game? Back when this was getting started, you said you were going to try to have more depth on offense and defense. You got a ballpark figure about how many guys will be ready to play?
Well, I mean, as far as quality depth, I mean, I think that's the key. Now we've had a plan that to develop more depth, and we've spent a lot more time this year on our 2s and 3s to get those guys ready, and that's been by design. As far as quality, we'll have to continue to build that, and we'll do that throughout the season. But we've given our 2s and 3s more quality reps than we ever had. And hopefully that'll help us, as the season, goes on.
So would you say definitely a lot more than a normal opening game would be ready to play if you needed them?
Yeah, as far as the reps are concerned, we'll have a lot more guys available, ready to go.
Thanks.
Coach, our next question is from Steve Moulton.
Hey, Coach, I was hoping you could speak to this grind because you guys have been really going since June, had a little bit of a break there in August, but with no spring, a different type of grind. What has it been like on the players and the coaching staff really since June?
Yeah, Steve, that's a great question. I think the emotional toll that it takes on you, with the uncertainty and all the ups and downs, because there was weeks that we were thinking like it's going to be really hard to play. And then there was the next week where you said, well, we got a chance to play. And all the ups and downs that and getting adjusted to the new normal as far as COVID's concerned, who's available, who's not available, who's out, adjusting with that takes a toll on you mentally, emotionally. But, our guys have done a good job. And as the season has gotten closer, you can tell the urgency is a lot higher from everyone. The excitement is a lot better from everyone. And so I know our guys, our coaches, we're just ready for game one to get here and start getting into the routine.
If you could give me a scouting report on Terry Wilson, what does he bring to the table for the Wildcats?
Well, you can tell he operates, the offense. You can tell he knows what he's doing. You can tell he's well coached, and he can run and he can throw, and it looks like he's got a very good command of the offense.
Coach, our next question is from Jason Caldwell.
Gus, I guess the SEC just kind of released a thing about you got to have 53 players available, one quarterback, a certain number. Is that helpful to have a standard set that hey, you're either going to play or not play depending on the numbers and not have to decide, what positions, all those things. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I think my biggest concern is the quality of the game, and making sure that, watching that first game a couple weeks ago, their deep snapper wasn't there, and I think they snapped it over his head twice. But, my big deal is the quality of the game. So hopefully, it'll be at a high level for all games considered.
Next question is from Justin Ferguson.
Hey, Gus, you said last Saturday that you wanted to get closer to the offensive line, a starting group there. What has progress been on that, and are y'all still sorting some of that out?
We're still sorting some of it out. We've had some guys that were out this week, and so we're still sorting that out. But hopefully this next week we'll get in a routine. One thing I will tell you is that this offensive line will have a chance to grow each week. But we're just trying to get the right 5 guys, get them beside each other, get them used to the communication, get them used to playing beside each other and the steps and everything that goes with that. So, we're hopefully this week we will have all that shored up.
So you're still trying to figure out that first 5, but do you like the depth up front, especially like we've been talking about, having to need so many guys this year?
Yeah, so I think we are getting closer to that first 5. Depth chart will come out next Tuesday, so we'll get that to y'all. But at the same time, like you just said, I mean, you have to have the mindset like you don't just have 5 starters. I mean, you got to have 8, 9 guys. The way I look at it, possibly even 10, that have that ability to not only play but really play multiple positions. Now, the good thing is we've done a whole lot of that up to this point because of the situations we've been in. We've got some tackles that have played guard and tackle. We've had one player that played center, guard, and tackle. I mean, so there's been more of that, and to a certain point that was by design, but a lot of it had to do with just, the people we had out. And so, hopefully we can get some consistency and keep more players out on the practice field.
Thank you.
Next question is from Gianna Hahn.
Hi, Coach. A little change in subject away from football. I was wondering, how have you seen Allen Green grow since in his time as AD at Auburn, and just what have you seen out of him in these last few months with all the different challenges you guys have faced?
Well, I think anything you do, a new job, you get experience as you go. And Alan's done a super job directing our athletic department. What I like about Alan is he's around. He knows our players personally. He comes to practice. They know him, and he's always around. And as far as the last couple of months, I know just it's been really impressive for me to see him. With his leadership, and I know our relationship's grown through all this too. And but I think he's doing an outstanding job during all this. And what I like I said, the big thing for me is, he's around, and he's around our players, and they know him.
Next question is a follow-up from Mark Murphy.
Yeah, Gus, how's Grant Lloyd progressing?
Grant, you can tell he's a veteran guy. You can tell he's played. He's getting used to Coach Morris's offense and the expectations, but he's worked really hard. I think his teammates really like him. They respect him. He's a hard worker. He's a good athlete, too, and he's got a real live arm. So he's just in the process of learning the offense, and he's got a lot of scrimmage reps, and like I said, 3 weeks in a row we let all of our quarterbacks go live other than Bo Nix, and so we got a chance to learn a lot about all those other guys, and he's one of them. And I will tell you this: we're glad he's here with us.
Is he fitting in nicely with his new team?
Yeah, that's one of his big assets. I mean, he's got to know his teammates. They have respect for him. You can tell they like him.
Thanks.
Our next question is from Tom Green.
Hey, Gus. Last week, Kevin said there was kind of a 5-man battle for that number 2 cornerback spot. How is that kind of shaken out this last week heading into game week?
Yeah, I think it's still at that point. But the great thing is, competition brings out the best in everybody. And so there's a lot of healthy competition. And, I think you can tell the way our league with what LSU did last year and spreading everything out, I expect the league to have more than that than normal. And then I think you're going to have more DBs that are ready to play. And so that's kind of been our message. But it's been really good competition, and I think it's helped us develop, guys.
Next question is from Philip Marshall.
Guys, could you talk about Anthony Schwartz and what that kind of speed brings to you, and just what you've seen out of him in the preseason?
he's had a very good, fall camp. He's healthy, okay? So I think that's really where it starts. And, Chad's done a super job with, moving him around and helping him be more complete receiver. And so I think you'll see that. But you can just tell his confidence level is very high right now. The thing about him, he's extremely smart. He's very coachable. You can do a lot of different things with him. And so we're looking for big things out of Anthony this year.
When you were recruiting him, I guess his speed the first thing that got your attention?
Yes, yeah. There's no doubt. His speed jumps off the film, and you got a chance. He's the fastest guy in the country. And the thing about Anthony is, there's a lot of guys that can run without pads. Anthony, I feel like, is just as fast in pads, and that gives him a big advantage. And he's really worked hard on the little things developing as a receiver, and really made a big time commitment. And so I think he's in a really good spot this year.
Thanks.
Next question is from a follow-up from Jason Caldwell.
Gus, I guess when you guys are in the stadium tomorrow, it'll be a week from game day. What do you feel the best about your team without a spring, and where do you feel like the biggest question marks are still with a week to go?
Probably the thing the veteran guys that we know what we're getting. I think that's what you got to hang your hat on early. As far as not knowing, it's just a matter of not going through spring. We did have an extended fall camp, which is great, and we've done more scrimmaging in fall camp we've ever done. Okay, so we do have some good information, but just each team's different. How the team's going to react, I do think that we have a lot of character in this team. I think we got some really good leadership on this team, but it's just the unknown of getting out there and doing it. But I do like our team. I like our staff, and I'm excited to watch our guys.
I think that extended fall has maybe helped the offensive line some, just because of the continuity they've been able to have through that 6-week period.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But like I said just a minute ago, it hadn't been like we've had every week. We hadn't had the same guys, and that's been the challenge. That's the hard part. So, yes and no, if that makes sense.
Next question, Coach, is from Thomas Murphy.
Hey, Coach. With the NFL starting back up this past week, just about every game you watch contains several former Auburn players. How impressed were you with the way they performed this past week, and were you able to talk with some of the rookies after their debuts?
Yeah, I don't get a chance to watch a whole lot of NFL, because we're pretty wrapped up what we're doing. But we do have a coach that updates us on how our guys are doing, and a lot of times we'll just text and all that. But I'm extremely proud. You're exactly right. Almost every team, has an Auburn guy, and those guys are playing extremely well. So that doesn't surprise me.
Got a follow-up from Steve Moulton.
Yes, Coach. I know you mentioned being 3 deep at some positions, but haven't really asked you about special teams in terms of long snapper, kicker, punt returner, those types of situations. Do you feel comfortable how deep you are in those areas?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because that's what you worry about. I was referring to that first game that was played a couple weeks ago, and the deep snapper snapped over his head twice, and it probably cost him the game. So we've been working extremely hard on depth at the deep snapper for punt and field goal. Punt returners, I think there's 5 guys instead of 3 that are catching punts every day, kickoff, real similar. So, yes, we've made a strong emphasis in that area, and like I said, we'll have the depth chart out to you, Tuesday when we have our presser.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question, Coach, is from Nathan King.
Hey, Gus. Hey, so when we talked to Chad last week, he said, he feels like you guys are going to need 4 running backs in pretty much every game to kind of go against the SEC gauntlet. How do you feel right now about that rotation, and do you feel like you have 4 guys that are ready to play strong in week 1?
Well, I think we got 5 guys that are capable of helping us, okay, which you can never have enough depth at the running back position. Worm and DJ are the 2 guys that have the experience. Harold's a guy that has some experience. And, then, of course, our 2 young guys, I think are very talented, and you'll see them in there too. But they just need more game reps and more experience.
Next question is from Brian Matthews.
Yes, sir, Coach. Thank you again for speaking to us. Nate sort of stole my question, so I'll transition to a punter. Do you have a starting punter yet?
Not yet, but it has been good competition. This week was a big week. Tomorrow going to the stadium will be a big night, and we'll try to get that ironed out by Tuesday. But I will tell you this, both guys can definitely help us, and both guys are very solid punters, so that helps you too, with what could happen throughout the season.
Thank you.
We've got time for a few more, Coach. We've got a follow-up from Thomas Murphy.
Hey, tomorrow night's the first practice / scrimmage I've had under the lights. I was wondering, have you had the chance to go to the stadium at night and check out the lights? And if so, is there any noticeable difference between the previous lights?
So we went about a month ago. We took our players to the stadium before we kicked off fall camp and turned the Jumbotron and all that, and then we showed them the lights. And so I just thought it was important that they get a chance to see exactly, what the differences are. And so tomorrow night, we're not going to actually scrimmage, but we are going to do some good on good and situation stuff. But we are going to turn the lights on just so they'll have a good understanding of what that will look like. That'll be different. And then I know there's a couple opponents on the road that has similar lighting systems. Then we're going to pump in some crowd noise, which that'll be happening this year too. So our guys will understand what that'll be like and how loud it'll be for our defense at home and our offense on the road.
A follow-up from Mark Murphy.
Guess with the extra scrimmaging, how are you guys health-wise, not considering the COVID stuff, but just generally having everybody ready to play for the opener?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate, I think, as far as any major injuries, because we put the ball down and we played old school football a whole lot, and so we've been pretty fortunate as far as that goes. We are a little bit banged up in a few areas, but our goal has been, by Tuesday of next week, man, everybody's healthy and ready to go. So hopefully that'll happen. We do have a chance for that to happen. So we'll see.
So no season injury.
No, not at this point.
Thanks.
Coach, our last question is from James in Oregon.
Hey, guys.
Wow. I thought you'd forgot about us, man.
No, I don't even have a question. I just heard you don't have enough daily negativity in your life, so I figured I'd just drop in and, Zoom bomb everybody and give everyone a laugh on a Friday.
Hey, that's a laugh. That's a good one. How's everything going in Oregon?
Well, the smoke is cleared. The fires are, I hope, out, and football may be around the corner. So we may be joining you. I might actually see you sometime in the next 10 years.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I hope you guys play.
Appreciate it.